Welcome to the video from the KC4DX DX-pedition to Navassa Island, 1972. This was shot in Super 8 by our good friend Steve, WA4VWV, on the trip. We had broken the team into two parts. Team A would arrive on Wednesday, Team B on Thursday, and this is Neil, WB4UPC with the 80-pound toolbox. Phil, W4GTS, with Bill Donovan's SB303 under his arm. And that's me, Chaz, W4GKF, with the SB401 under his arm. That's Bill's transmitter as well. We had brought with us as checked baggage everything the DX-pedition needed besides food, water, and gasoline. And since we were transiting Jamaica, we didn't have to pay Jamaican customs to come in and go out. But we did have to bribe the customs official a little bit. And you're about to see Chris Brennan, 6Y5CB there, bribing the customs official. I don't remember the size of the bribe, but it wasn't very big. 28 boxes, 800 pounds of stuff. And we had arranged for a couple of vans to meet us here at the Kingston Airport and take us to the marina in Port Antonio, where our ship was going to sail from. Several of us went off to get the vans, and there's Neil guarding all of our materials there in the customs house. The generators were Homelite 2500 watt jobs. They worked very nice, lightweight, and very reliable for us. Neil had engineered some power switching so we could just use one and then switch the other. Phil having his first rum drink in Jamaica. Phil was 52 at the time of the expedition and was nervous about that rope ladder you've seen and you're going to see more of shortly. But in good order, everything got loaded up and we were able to make our way to Port Antonio. I think it was about I want to say a 45-minute to an hour drive. Not too bad. You all know about the lighthouse on Navassa Island by now. We were anxious to see it. This one that's coming up here shortly isn't it. So we reached the port in good hands and got everything unloaded and loaded onto the boat. We'd never seen the boat at this time, so we said, oh my God, please tell me that isn't it. And it wasn't. This is it. 41 foot Hatteras sports fisherman, 10 passengers and a crew of 3. Nobody told me to think about 13 on the boat at the time. I'm glad I didn't. Nice little marina for 1972. Some big boats, some little boats. That's Neil. And coming up, the best indication you're in Jamaica is a lot of red stripe empties. Chris Brennan again, 6Y5CB, who was really invaluable helping us out. Next day, we pick up Team B back at the airport. That's Wayne Green with a bad toupee. Don, at the time, WB4SST, now N4DK. And back in the back, you'll see, this is Skip Staub, K4TMA. Bill, WB4WMG. Ray Cobb, K4PGM. Don Caston, N4DK. And here comes Rick Feld, K3FPY, who all of his possessions were in a yellow box marked bomb-tossing computer on the side and didn't bother the customs guys so much. Bill, Skip, Rick, Ray, and Wayne Green. And Neil with an 80-pound toolbox. He wouldn't let it out of his sight. So the afternoon before we sailed at midnight, we all got together for beers. You'll see Phil Latta walking in right there, W4GTS. We had forgotten left him at the airport. He had to take a taxi out to Port Antonio. Don't know how that happened. I guess 10 people is like wrangling ducks. We sailed at midnight, so it's pretty dark, no pictures, and this is the next morning. This is a 41-foot boat in 8-foot seas, and I've edited out all the examples of me puking over the rail. There were many. Some people slept in the cabin below, and some of the more intrepid spent their time on the flying bridge, which made no sense to me since that was the most motion you could possibly get, but they did it. You saw a moment ago Neil Stone loading up on 20 meters on the boat. And we're there. 40-foot cliffs surrounding the island on all sides, and shortly you'll see, there it is, the rope ladder that hangs off the catwalk. That is to say, hung, it's gone now. Those are man-of-war birds. Now this is a wildlife refuge, chiefly because that's the largest nesting place for man-of-war birds in the world. So what happens, see, is you get in this little 8-foot boat in these 8-foot seas, and you row 50 yards or so, and that's me in the middle of that boat about to jump onto the rope ladder and scurry up to dry land for the first time in 12 hours, and boy, was I happy to be there. I carried with me a small wrench, a U-bolt, a small pulley, and a length of line, and we used that for hauling everything out of the dinghy up the line. The 800 pounds of stuff we brought, plus another 1,000 pounds of gasoline, food, water, and so forth. Finally on the air Friday night. This is the next morning on Saturday. That's Wayne Green at the microphone, and Don Caston and Bill Donovan. And that's Rick and Chaz, and left to right, blah, blah. We had 3 stations on the air. The S1, S500C, that's you see right there, and 2 Heathkit pairs. We had 3 on the air most of the time. You can't go on a Caribbean DX-pedition without a stun set photograph, so this is ours. That's a Hustler 4BTV that we used on 40 meters and 20 sometimes when the beam wasn't working right. We had time on Saturday to explore the island a little bit. The hike from the landing where we were down near the rope ladder was quite a hike up to the lighthouse, which you're going to see in just a moment. This is Bill harvesting little spikes out of the railroad that he gave to everybody as mementos, or as what Neil Stone would call momentums of the occasion. This is our first scene shot of the lighthouse coming up the way, and down here on the right you'll see me kneeling taking the picture at that moment that was used on the QSL card, which hopefully you have. There's Lighthouse, all 162 feet of it. It was at this time unmanned, battery operated, serviced by the Coast Guard, and since has been decommissioned altogether. Number of buildings, walls, and that's about it at the base. This is the entrance to the lighthouse, chained shut. We didn't go in. I understand later expeditions did. And this is, I think, the lighthouse keeper's quarters. That's a cistern in the water collecting fresh water, in the floor collecting fresh water. Place is pretty well trashed. There's a lot of junk lying around left by God knows whom. Mostly, I suspect, some of the Haitian fishermen who spend time today on that island. That was a goat skull that you saw back there, and that's the world's deepest 3-hole privy. And a place where we scrawled our names, our call signs on the wall. Had to do it twice because whoever was scrawling, I think it was Skip, scrawled Bill's call sign wrong and had to scratch it out. There it is, and do it correctly. Also, I noticed that Rick's call is wrong. That it has always been wrong. K3FPY is his call. More man-of-war bird. It was hot. Did I mention it was hot? It's May in the Caribbean. It's going to be hot. And this is a sample of the terrain. It's always this like rocky and tangled undergrowth, very difficult to navigate. And after 54 hours of being on the air, we're starting to pack this bad boy up. Took everything with us, as good citizens should do. So there was no trace of our having been there. That's how far away the boat was, about 50 yards offshore, and the seas were still not pretty rough. So again, Joseph and Richard rowed everybody to and fro. There's a scene when Steve's in the boat coming up. You'll see what it was like from the rowboat's point of view. That's Steve, WA4VWV, who's now a silent key, and also Phil is an SK now. And this is Don Caston. Watch his hat and watch him fall down. Whoop, there he's gone. And over there, avoiding work, is Wayne Green taking pictures for the magazine, which you've seen from the August 72 issue of CQ of 73 magazine. Offloading all this stuff was a lot easier than bringing it on the island in the first place. That's Richard doing the work and Joseph there in the boat, and Neil Stone taking the cots together, and this is me coming down the rope ladder for the last time, perhaps, certainly forever, using the approved down the edge approach to keep the rope ladder from swinging out from under your feet. And these are from Steve in the dinghy on the way back to the boat. And yes, the boat does seem to vanish a little bit from time to time. Yes, not as bad as it was coming, but still significant. The good news is we made 5,500 contacts in 54 hours, and nobody got hurt. There were some cactus spines and a skinned knee or two, but thank goodness no one was hurt. Coast Guard had told us if someone had gotten hurt, if they weren't coming for us, so we were pretty careful about that. So you can see what the water was like from the boat. And there's our last view of the lighthouse as we sail away. It's still 12 hours back to Jamaica, so with no pressure of making radio contacts, Bill decided he'd fish. And we caught a fish, a wahoo. And the captain and crew took that home for dinner. So it was almost dark when we got back to Jamaica, and were met at the dock by a couple of our wives who'd come down. This is the whole team, 3 of whom are silent keys now. And Wayne's 90 as I do this, so that's cool. See ya.